Hey everybody, welcome back, and today I'm going to give my first impressions of Season 19. This does not include anything revealed during Week 2 or the dawning event. I just want to talk about the first week, what we've seen, and my opinions on how good this season will be so I can compare it at the end of the season and we'll see how everything turned out. So let's first talk about the story. At the end of Season 18, we actually left off with Osiris being revived from this dark liquid we made from these artifacts of Nezarec, and everyone was just pretty okay with that he just got revived out of nowhere from this darkness liquid. I'm sure we'll see if there's any repercussions from that later down the line, but I thought it was kind of weird. We'll see later, I'm sure, if anything happens from that. Anyways, we moved over to Anna Bray, actually, to start the season. When we last saw her, she was on Mars protecting Rasputin from this pyramid ship that just landed there. Now she has Rasputin tucked away into an engram. He's a little bit kind of fragmented, so we're trying to repair Rasputin throughout this season. Of course, the only person that can help her repair him is Clovis Bray, her father. And you know, the madman Clovis Bray, we had to go up and try to rescue Clovis. He was being attacked by Xivu Ras forces when we got there. So we cleared out Xivu's forces and we saved Clovis Bray by putting him into an exoframe, actually. So now every week we're going to go back and talk to Clovis in the helm. He's in this kind of weird looking exo suit. So we'll talk to him every week and see what kind of crazy stuff he has to say. I think for an intro mission, this was actually pretty good. It was a pretty good look at what happened with Anna to start, and where we're gonna kind of go from there. Kind of repair Rasputin every week, talk to Clovis, see what crazy stuff he has. But I'm kind of interested to see where this is gonna bridge us into Lightfall the next season, and how it's gonna tie into Witness. We already see in the trailer for Lightfall that Callus is in there as well, so maybe we'll kind of get some bit of Callus this season as well, maybe towards the end of it. So I'm pretty excited to see where this is going to go, and I can't wait to play this week's mission. Heist Battlegrounds are the new 3-person seasonal activity that we got this season. So if you've been playing Destiny the last couple of years, this actually may look kind of familiar. You're going to see that this is kind of like a mixture of the Warmind vaults, also with like Wrathborn hunts. If you did Wrathborn hunts when Beyond Light first came out, and in these seasonal activities in the Battlegrounds, you're tasked with diving deep into a Warmind vault, and you just keep fighting off wave after wave after wave of Xivu Ras enemies, which ends up in a boss fight at the very end. After you kill the boss, just like previous seasonal activities, you can spend the seasonal currency, which is Seraph key codes this time, and you unlock the bonus chest, which gives you seasonal weapons and armor. Just kind of your typical seasonal activity. But I will say, my opinions on this is I think the seasonal activity was pretty good. We got a decent amount of enemies around every corner, and the enemies in this activity are actually always 5 levels above your power level, and they include some champions too as well. So I think this seasonal activity was a really good mixture of like some challenging stuff as well as just kind of very relaxed seasonal activity you could do once every week. So I can't wait to see what the harder version is going to be, if they have like a heroic version or something like that. That'll be even tougher with even more champions and stuff like that. So I think that'll be fun, and I'm actually looking forward to playing this today. So we'll get into that later. Next is the new dungeon, Slayer of the Watcher. It was released last Friday, December 9th. So if you haven't played it yet, you don't want it spoiled, you can click away or just mute the video. I put some timestamps down below as well, so you can just click through if you don't want to listen. This is a Vex dungeon that takes place on Mars and has 3 encounters and 2 bonus chests. This gives you a decent amount of loot every run. And this is the first Vex dungeon too that we've had as well, so I was pretty excited that we got a Vex dungeon. So now we've had a dungeon of every type of enemy, I believe. So that's pretty awesome as well. The main mechanic of this dungeon is just connecting some wires going from one node to the next. And that's it. That's the main mechanic. So once you get that down, you really don't have anything else to worry about. This makes each encounter a lot easier on the mechanic side of things, but they've definitely cranked up the number of enemies in each encounter, which has definitely made each encounter a little bit tougher as well, which I really like. The bosses themselves too aren't too bad either. You have one big harpy boss that's from actually Garden of Salvation, if you played that. And then you have a big wyvern boss at the very, very end, which is a little bit challenging. It's a good time, though. I had a good time playing that. So overall, I think this was a great dungeon. I had a lot of fun with friends. It was pretty easy to understand, and the loot was pretty awesome. I mean, we got cowboy hats for our guardians, which who doesn't like that? I mean, come on. So I can't wait to just farm this dungeon, get some new loot. The weapons also are pretty good. There's a grenade launcher that can shoot 2 rounds at once, which is pretty wild. So I'm sure there will be some crazy stuff from these weapons. So I'm really excited about it. And finally, I just want to talk about predictions. Am I going to get burned out this season? Is there enough content to keep me coming back every week, playing with some friends, maybe doing some raids and stuff? And for me, I gotta say, I think so. I think definitely better than last season. I really enjoyed this seasonal activity. I think there are tons of new weapons with new perks that are going to keep me interested in coming back every week, as well as the new revamped Deep Stone Crypt weapons. They have a new origin trait, and you can craft them. So I can't wait to get a hold of those as well. And of course, there are just so many armor sets they're coming out with this season. I think about like 4 or 5 they're saying. So including the Iron Banner armor set too. So can't wait to get those transmog too. That's going to be a good time. And of course, the Dawning. The Dawning's going out now too. So that will definitely baking some cookies. Of course, I know it's the same old, but hey, I don't, I don't mind it. It's not something I'm going to grind for, but if I get it, I get it. Who knows? And then come January, we got Grandmasters, which will be a good time as well. And then we got Iron Banner returning as well too. So hopefully, I think that will definitely keep me interested throughout the season. And hopefully, with the story being right before Lightfall, hopefully there's a little bit of twists and turns in there that, they'll probably keep us interested until Lightfall. So, but what do you think? Let me know what you think of the season so far. Were you impressed by the first week? Were you impressed so far, wherever you're watching this at? What do you think that they've done well? What do you think is going to happen? Whatever. Just let me know in the comments, and I'll see everybody in the next video.